Welcome to this new interesting topic in the Philippine history. It is said that poverty and disability are not obstacles for a person to develop, especially if they have the strategy and talent, and that is what Apolinario Mabini used to fight for our freedom, even though he didn't literally fight, but he became the mastermind of the rebellion. Unfortunately, he was stricken with polio and became the kilang lumpo of our history. But there was a rumor back then that it was not really polio that caused his paralysis, but an STD. An STD?
He looks weak, fragile, and crippled. But how can someone like him be considered as one of the heroes of the Philippines?
Apolinario Mabini grew up in Tanlaga, Tanawan in Batangas and comes from a poor family. Despite of the difficulties, he was said to be very smart. So he got a scholarship and studied at the College of San Juan de Letran. Because of the scarcity of life, he worked hard while educating himself.
For extra money, he taught Latin even if he was still a student then. Afterwards, he returned to Tanawan and became a teacher so that when he saved money, he could go back to the University of Santo Tomas, and there he graduated from law school in 1894.
Unlike Rizal and other intellectual students in Europe, Mabini is the only one who has really graduated here in the Philippines. Mabini has proven that a Filipino can keep up with anyone when it comes to the brain.
Siyang nagbabasa. So may pagka, I don't know, intellectual or talagang mahilig siya no, sa larangan ng kaalaman. Lahat ng subject niya, halos lahat, sobresaliente. Pinakamataas na marka mabibigay. No? Boring nga yung kanyang transcript of record eh. Kasi lahat perfect. Oh, perfect, boring, perfect lahat. No? And pati yung mga kaklase ng mga Espanyol, mas mataas pa yung grades.
Mabini joined La Liga Filipina and it subsided when Jose Rizal was exiled to Dapitan. It split and formed into two groups, the Cuerpo de Compromisarios and Katipunan. Mabini formed the Cuerpo de Compromisarios and Andres Bonifacio founded the Katipunan.
Mabini did not join the Katipunan, and he is the one who really administered the principle of La Liga Filipina.
His role there was to raise funds to continue to support La Solidaridad, the campaign in Spain for reformist agenda. He did not agree with the revolution because the people were not ready for an armed revolution. He did not want bloodshed, but he wanted bloodless reform.
Mabini wrote the El Verdadero Decalogo, which contains 10 commandments that should be in the hearts of Filipino revolutionaries.
At sinasabi niya, republika yung kunin natin, hindi yung monarchy. Kailangan pinipili ng sambayanan ang pinuno niya. Kailangan may mabuting kalooban, no? At puri para maging maunlad na bansa tayo.
Unfortunately, in 1896, at the age of 32, Mabini contracted a severe fever which paralyzed him for the rest of his life. He was later called the Sublime Paralytic.
Pasiano Rizal, Jose Rizal's brother, adopted him despite of his disability. Because of Mabini's proficiency in the law, General Emilio Aguinaldo called him to establish the government and help him lead.
Mabini was appointed as an advisor of Aguinaldo and was also assigned as a Secretary of Foreign Affairs and head of the first cabinet in the Philippines.
Apolinario Mabini is said to have found a strange power when he was young, because instead of strengthening his body through sports, exercise, or playing, he chose to fatten his brain through study of lessons, reading, and writing.
Mabini had no friends, no social life, and no girlfriend. He loves no one but the country. But even though Mabini is paralyzed, he did not stop the service.
Apart from the so-called mastermind of the rebellion, Apolinario Mabini is also considered as Dakilang Lumpo.
But the question is, how did he become the Dakilang Lumpo? There were a lot of rumors back then, but the worst rumor was that he had syphilis. Mabini has never had a girlfriend nor flirted with girls. So how did it happen that he had syphilis?
Galing sa mga historians na sina Teodora Gonzillo at Aguilar Cruz, kung di ako nagkakamali. Si Eftion ni Lucen, narinig niya yung chismis din somewhere. At ito ay kinonfirm niya dun sa mga historians kay Agoncillo na merong ganong chismis. Sinulat niya sa poon na umamin daw si Mabini. Fictional na pag-uusap na siya ay merong ginawa na sexual misadventure ng bata.
But it seems that Mabini's paralysis is a blessing in disguise because it is said to have kept him away from disaster.
Mabini would have almost died in 1896, but fortunately that year he was paralyzed. So instead of being killed, he was locked up in the hospital. But even though Apolinario Mabini became crippled, it still did not become an obstacle to his opponents. In fact, he became a thorn in the throat of Americans.
He was forced to swear allegiance to the Americans, but Mabini was adamant, so he was exiled to Guam. Here he wrote La Revolution Filipina, which contained criticisms of why the revolution in the Philippines in 1898 did not succeed.
Despite Mabini's obstinacy towards the Americans, he soon gave up. He said that it looks like he won't last long, and for him, it is more important to die at your home. After reaching an agreement with the Americans, he was sent home to the Philippines.
In 1980, the mystery of his paralysis was answered when his bones were excavated and it was proven that polio was the cause of his death and not syphilis. He contracted cholera after drinking buffalo milk. It is said that there was no pasteurization or boiling milk back then to kill the bacteria, so it is possible that what he drank was contaminated. So the controversy of Mabini over having an STD is not true, and by that we are closing this topic.
Mabini's personality was full of mystery.
Cannot be denied that he was one of those who truly loved the country.
He is fascinating because he seems to be so intelligent.
Not just knowledgeable, not just intelligent, but he is more than that.
For that, he seems to be even stronger than people who walk well.
And his condition did not hinder his success.
Your disability or the things that you can do is not a hinder for you to love your country.
He is truly a patriot because whatever his post, high or low, he still tries to do the greatest possible good for his country.